Justice Department thinks of how the Chicago Police Department's been doing its job. A year-long investigation concludes the Chicago Department has violated the constitutional rights of residents for years. Now comes the question of what will be done about that. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is in Chicago tonight.
A 13-month probe by the Department of Justice into the Chicago Police Department determined that officers were poorly trained. They shot at vehicles without justification, shot at fleeing suspects. They used force for retaliation, used force when there was no threat, and failed to de-escalate situations and avoid force.
The Chicago Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of use of excessive force in violation of the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution.
The investigation was sparked by the release of this videotape showing a white police officer shooting a black teenager 16 times, killing him.
How many shots? 15 shots!
That set Chicago on a whirlwind of protests. The police superintendent was fired. The state's attorney voted out of office. The officer who fired the fatal shots is facing murder charges. Among other conclusions in the probe, claims that investigations about use of force were biased in favor of officers. Not all cases were investigated. Discipline was haphazard, and racially discriminatory conduct by officers was not investigated.
The race issue and issues of trust between communities of color and the police department have to be addressed head-on.
However, the ousted police superintendent Garry McCarthy says this flurry of probes by the DOJ is politics injected into policing. Failures by police have not increased, the investigations have. And cops have friction in minority communities because that is where the trouble is.
The most violent community in Chicago is Englewood, and that happens to be 97% African American. The expectation is that we'll stop 32% white folks there, which is just preposterous.
He complains that this is an answer to the angry mob. The Department of Justice boasting 25 probes into police departments, now wrapping up at the end of the Obama administration. The head of Chicago's police board says this is the first step toward healing, with trust between the city and troubled communities so badly broken they are locked in a never-ending stream of grievances and settlements.
We need to move forward, and again, I'm a very practical lawyer. If we don't do that, the plaintiff's bar is going to continue to sue the city. We're going to continue to hemorrhage money.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel and the Department of Justice signed an agreement in principle which puts them on a path to negotiate binding and enforceable reforms overseen by a third party. Those negotiations don't begin until the new administration is sworn in. Brett?
Mike Tobin, live in Chicago. Mike, thank you.